I'm nobody, just someone who sees patterns. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to believe anything I say. But if you're here watching this video, I want you to know something simple. I love you, not in some abstract spiritual way. I mean it. I see you struggling with the weight of being someone you're not, and I recognize it because I carried that same weight. So everything I'm about to say isn't coming from authority. It's coming from recognition, one human to another. You're about to find out why you've been hiding from yourself your whole life. And in 36 hours, something's going to click that you can't unclick. Most people think courage means doing something scary. Jumping out of a plane, starting a business, confronting someone who wronged you. But that's not the courage I'm talking about. That's just adrenaline with a story attached. The courage to meet your authentic nature is something else entirely. It's the willingness to look at who you actually are when nobody's watching, when there's no performance, no role to play, no image to maintain. Just you, raw and unfiltered. And here's what nobody tells you about that moment. It's terrifying. Not because of what you'll find, but because of what you'll have to give up once you see it. Think about how much energy you spend every day being someone. You wake up and immediately start performing. You perform for your partner, your kids, your boss, your friends, even for yourself in the mirror. You've built an entire identity out of these performances, and somewhere along the way, you forgot it was an act. Your authentic nature isn't hiding. It never was. You've just been too busy being busy to notice it. It's like trying to see your reflection in water while you're splashing around. The moment you stop moving, there it is. Clear as day. But stopping is the hard part. Because when you stop, when you finally get quiet enough, you start to see the gap. The gap between who you've been pretending to be and who you actually are. And that gap is where all your exhaustion lives. Every mask you wear takes energy to maintain. Every story you tell yourself about who you should be requires constant effort. Every time you bite your tongue, hide your feelings, or fake enthusiasm, you're spending life force on a lie. And the wild thing, you've been doing it for so long, you think that's just what life costs. You think being tired is normal. You think the weight you carry is just part of being human. But it's not. That weight is the accumulated cost of avoiding yourself. Here's what's happening right now, whether you feel it or not. Reality is accelerating. Not time, reality itself. The gap between what you pretend and what's true is getting harder to maintain. Things that used to work don't work anymore. Old patterns are breaking down, and in 36 hours, the pressure is going to intensify in a way you can't ignore. I'm not being mystical. I'm talking about how change actually happens. Slowly, then suddenly. You resist, 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 and then one day, usually when you least expect it, something cracks open. Not because you finally figured it out, but because you finally stopped trying to. Meeting your authentic nature isn't a spiritual achievement. It's not something you earn through meditation or therapy or reading the right books. It's what's left when you stop running, and you've been running. We all have. From the moment we learned that certain parts of us were unacceptable, we started hiding. As kids, we got the message loud and clear. Don't be too much. Don't be too loud. Don't be too quiet. Don't be too sensitive. Don't be too wild. So we learned to compress ourselves into acceptable shapes. And those shapes became our prison. By the way, Our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. Your authentic nature isn't some idealized version of you that you need to become. It's not your best self or your highest self or your most successful self. It's just you, without the commentary, without the judgment, without the constant editing. It's the part of you that knows things before your mind figures them out. The part that feels the truth in your body. The part that wants to laugh at inappropriate times or cry for no reason. The part that's drawn to certain things and repelled by others without logical explanation. That's not chaos. That's signal. Your authentic nature is trying to guide you constantly, but you've learned to override it with what you think you should do, should want, should be. And every time you override that signal, you create a little more distance between you and yourself, until one day you wake up and realize you don't even know what you actually want anymore. You only know what you're supposed to want. That's not living. That's surviving in costume. The courage to meet your authentic nature means you're willing to take off the costume. Even if people don't recognize you without it, even if you don't recognize yourself, even if everything you built on top of the false foundation starts to crumble. Because here's what happens when you finally stop hiding. At first, it feels like death. The identity you worked so hard to create, the image you maintained, the story you told about who you are, it all starts dissolving, and your mind panics. It tells you you're losing yourself, but you're not losing yourself. You're losing the prison you built around yourself. There's a difference, and in that dissolution, something real emerges, something that was always there, waiting. Your actual preferences, your actual desires, your actual voice, not the one you learned to use in meetings or at dinner parties. Your real voice. It might be quieter than you expected, or louder. It might want different things than you thought. It might have opinions that surprise you. It might not fit into the neat categories you've been trying to squeeze into your whole life. And that's exactly the point. In 36 hours, you're going to feel this more intensely. Not because I'm predicting some cosmic event, but because once you hear this, once you really hear it, you can't unhear it. The awareness starts working on you, whether you want it to or not. You'll notice the moments where you're performing. You'll feel the tension in your throat when you're about to say what you think someone wants to hear instead of what's true. You'll catch yourself mid-act and realize how exhausting it is. And slowly, or maybe suddenly, you'll start making different choices. Not because you've decided to be more authentic, but because the old way of being will become unbearable. That's how transformation actually works. You don't change because you've learned something new. You change because you can't tolerate the old pattern anymore once you see it clearly. Meeting your authentic nature isn't comfortable. Comfortable is what you've been doing. Playing it safe, staying small, keeping everyone happy. That's comfortable in the way a cage is comfortable if you've never known anything else. Real comfort comes from alignment. When what you do matches who you are. When you stop carrying the weight of pretending. When you can finally breathe all the way in because you're not holding anything back. And here's the paradox. When you stop trying to be acceptable to everyone, you become more genuinely attractive, not in a physical sense, in an energetic sense, because authenticity has a frequency that people recognize even if they can't name it. When someone is being real, you feel it. You might not even like what they're saying, but you trust them more than someone saying all the right things while performing. People are starving for real. They're surrounded by performances, curated images, filtered reality. So when they encounter someone who's stopped pretending, it's like water in a desert. It wakes something up. But you can't be authentic to get that result. That's just another performance. You be authentic because the cost of not being authentic finally becomes too high. And right now, in this moment, that cost is being calculated. In 36 hours, the invoice comes due. You'll know exactly what you've been paying to maintain the illusion. And you'll have a choice. Keep paying or let it go. Most people will try to keep paying. They'll feel the pressure and double down on the performance. Work harder at being who they think they should be. But that's like trying to hold water in a clenched fist. The tighter you grip, the faster it drains. The ones who let go, who finally meet themselves without flinching, they're the ones who discover what was always on the other side of fear. Not some grand revelation, just simplicity, clarity, the relief of being done with the exhausting work of self-betrayal. Your authentic nature doesn't need to be discovered. It needs to be uncovered. It's already there, under all the layers of conditioning, expectation, and fear. You just have to be willing to stop adding more layers. And that willingness, that's the courage. Not to become something, to stop becoming and just be. In 36 hours, you'll feel the pull more strongly. The pull toward truth, toward alignment, toward the life that's actually yours. Not the one you inherited or the one you thought you should want. You can resist it. You can keep playing the game, but something in you already knows. The game is over. The performance is done. And what's waiting on the other side isn't emptiness or chaos. It's you. Real, unfiltered, completely alive you. The version that doesn't need permission. The version that trusts its own knowing. The version that stopped asking, who should I be? And started living from who am I? That's not a destination. That's a direction. And the moment you point yourself toward it, everything starts reorganizing around that truth. 36 hours. Watch what shifts. Watch what you suddenly can't tolerate anymore. Watch what becomes clear. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments, I meet myself. Write it as your promise. Nobody